Hey everyone, it's your host Marcus Norman of the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today I have found you guys a treat. I am smiling ear to ear. This man I had the pleasure and honor to ask to be a guest on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And he, unfortunately for him, said yes. And we are excited. We are blessed to have this man on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage. I have coming to the stage Mr. Ken Childs, a licensed private investigator out of Los Angeles, California. He's worked for celebrities and has been on Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, and Access Hollywood, and everything in between. And he's also been featured in a Los Angeles magazine, Los Angeles Times, and BuzzFeed. And he has 25 years of experience and has seen it all, done it all, even dove into some crypto bust that he has been a part of himself. So, without further ado, help me welcome this incredible guest, Mr. Ken Childs, coming to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage with the Nuggets, the sauce. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast show, sir. I have been looking forward to this conversation all week. You can tell, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I hope I live up to my intro.
The intro is all you, sir. You
Yeah.
have done the incredible work and spent the time and dedicated years of your time building out your resume. You are a true, incredible man. So I appreciate you.
Thank
I,
you.
I want to dive in a little bit and start with the basics, right? What led you down the path to become a private investigator? What was a personal experience that led you to become what it is that you? I'll tell you. I've been looking for this position all week on on Indeeds, right? I've been trying to figure out like how do I become a PI? Can you share what led you down the path? What life experiences, if any?
Yeah, so after I graduated high school, I was kind of doing, maybe what most people do, a little bounce around, part-time job, college, and it just wasn't working. I wanted to get my degree, go into law enforcement, and one morning I ended up meeting a handful of private investigators, and they just liked me out of the gate. And after a little bit of chatting, before I knew it, I was hired, and I ended up working with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they saw. What do you think they saw in you? Was it the way you ask questions? Was it the hair? What do you think
You want
they
the
saw
raw?
about you?
You want the raw story?
I do, please.
So okay, so I was working in Old Town Pasadena at a bar, doing, like I said, I was doing the bar thing in community college, and this guy walked in, and it was like Sunday morning football, and the guy just looked roughed, right? Like tattoos, like cut here and teardrops, and I thought, oh boy, here we go. Let's see. So he's already drunk, and he just rolls up on a girl, like real aggressive, and he's all over her. And I just tried to do the gentleman thing, right? I just kind of like slid in, like wasn't paying attention to him, and like slid in, was like, hey, got you. Tried to like kind of be a little subtle about getting her out of there. And, obviously I wasn't subtle enough because the guy stepped up and like gave me a shove. And honestly, I just choked him out. I just like grabbed him into a chokehold, drug him out the front door, and threw him in the middle of the street. So when I came back in, there was like a handful of guys that were like, "Wait a minute, we got to talk to you. If this is how you can handle yourself, you're gonna love this." And after a couple minutes, they convinced me to go ahead and give it a go. And what I what I what I found intriguing about it was the fact that I could still kind of get like a little bit of justice, right, for the small employer, someone that's going through like workers' comp claims, or maybe someone going through like a divorce or something. So I kind of felt like, wow, that to me, almost that instant gratification, that legal play was kind of what like drew me to the industry. And after my first day, I was hooked.
Absolutely. Were you ever fearful of your life? I mean, that one guy, that one instance, you clearly sized him up, right? You clearly just, you looked at him, you scoped him out, you looked him head to toe, and he's like, I could take this guy if anything goes south. right? Which is, and then you defended that young lady's honor, right? Or no? Am I way off here?
I was stressed, man. Like I was 6'2", like a buck 45, like on a on a sweaty day, man. Like this guy, he wasn't playing. But I think the only reason why I was able to manage this guy so quickly, I mean, I've done martial arts forever, but like he was drunk, so I blew right through him. You know, just bam into a choke. He couldn't, you know.
He couldn't see it coming. He couldn't take it. He was too intoxicated to ever like
Right.
respond efficiently.
Right. It was that perfect combination of him being drunk enough and me knowing just enough that it worked out.
Absolutely. Look at that. Look at that. And ultimately, did you get the girl? Did you ride off into the sunset with the young lady who you were defending, or no?
No, man, it wasn't like that. But like, she was very thankful, though. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's huge. And so they saw you. They saw the potential in you, and they said, "We got to talk to this gentleman." Have you ever caught someone you personally knew cheating? Have you ever caught someone or found someone that was like, this is the baker at my favorite deli. Like this is my buddy from racquetball or baseball or football.
No, but crazy enough, I did get a call from a young lady, and she was outlining like why she thinks this guy's cheating, and I'm like, uh-huh, yeah, it's all kind of like aligning. And then she says, well, we got a little bit of a problem because he's also in your line of work. And I thought, oh my goodness, like, well, okay, well now you got to tell me, like, who is this guy? And she gave me the name, and I'm like, oh, pump the brakes. Like,
Hmm.
I actually have a really good relationship with this guy. So I had to just, so it's really interesting. So in my line of work, should not take that case, right? Because it's like, it's a little bit of like a moral or ethical conundrum. So I told her, well, since the cat's already out of the bag and I know this guy, what I can do is I could bring in another investigator that I know that doesn't know him. So like I'll still kind of like manage it and whatever. And then I don't know, somehow she maybe she felt like she got a little too nervous, and since we all knew each other, she ended up like backing out. But I did have to keep that secret.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, so are you like the transporter in California? Are you the transporter private eye of California where you where you're like, I don't need names. I just need weight of the package. You know, the movie Transport was like, what's the name? Where does he live? Basic information. How much detail do you need to initiate an investigation, or do you just need, hey, I just need what city this person is. I'll do the rest. Like, what do you need as a client looking for you for your service?
So we all like to think we're like dope, like the transporter, right? In our minds, we're like, boom, we got the car. Give me the address, and off we go. The reality is, it depends, right? So let's say I'm talking with somebody and it's a legitimate case, and maybe they don't really like their details are a little fuzzy or whatnot. I can I've been doing this long enough, like I could bang out the rest, honestly. But typically, I want to know a little bit more, just because I want to know what I'm getting into. Is it like a nasty enough divorce where a new boyfriend might want to like step up if we get caught, or let's say it's like some sort of auto repo or something like that. Like I do auto repos as well. I like to find these stolen cars, these people that just like drive off with these rentals and never come back. I love those cases. So you never know. So honestly, I don't need a terrible amount of information, but I do want to know what I'm getting into.
For sure. For sure. Right. That absolutely helps. How much do you incorporate social media, if at all, in your private investigation? Can you spill any tea there, or you don't need that?
No, you know what? There's no like secret recipe to this. If I'm on a case, like, of course, I'm gonna look down and kind of bop around a little bit and see what's going on online. Yeah, you
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. What's the difference between you, a private investigator, a professional private investigator, and a bounty hunter? Or do you guys work together? Are you guys two worlds apart?
No. So I did. bounty hunting for a handful of years, and I did love it. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie, honestly, and it's I don't know. It's just like it's its own world, and at the same time, like PIs are a pretty good fit for it. We have the ability to look up information. We can kind of interview people a little more like on the low key, where we would get maybe more information out of somebody versus someone who's just gonna like roll up, oh, big old like vest and bravado and just kind of shut some shit down. So. Um, I do feel that like there is a pretty good market for private investigators to do that. The flip side is, I feel like these insurance companies and or these bondsmen, they don't want to pay. So, I had a handful of jobs that kind of like it's like a teaser, right? You go out and you like arrest somebody and you're on that like big high, and then you get like a fair check, and you're like, oh, well, okay, well let's build this up. But the problem is what they don't tell you is you're going to go after someone who's hiding for murder, but you're looking for him for like a $300 like DUI skip.
Mm, And the
No,
insurance companies don't have an obligation to tell you that. They don't. The court system didn't have an obligation to tell you that as a bounty hunter.
they may not know that, right? So like all of a sudden, you get your paper and you're like, all right, DUI, blah blah blah. We're just going to make gas money off this, but we're going to do it so we can get the better jobs, right? And so you roll out, you start talking to friends, and all of a sudden you're like, they did what? The hood is like, protecting them for what? Like, oh, okay, this is gonna get real quick. Yeah, I've got those stories for days.
What has been your worst story or situation, and what has been your easiest PI job? So let's do both ends of the spectrum. Like the worst, like man, I went for DUI and the dude was a mass murderer. Like he's like, Pablo Escobar level type stuff. Like the FBI, he's on America's FBI list. You discovered, or what was it easy? Like, listen, the guy was, he was hiding out in his mom's basement, and I caught him because he refused to leave the house. What's your easiest case? What's your worst case?
So it's almost like the same exact case. So it was like easy in the way that we didn't have to like really dig in and go looking for him. We knew he was with this girl. He wasn't going anywhere. But then we started getting talks through like friends and friends that he's got a gun like at the back window. So if he hears anything, this dude's just gonna like run right out the back, grab the pistol, and dive right out that window. And so it was right before Christmas, and one of the people that I think we were just kind of like paying him off for a little info in the hood, and we get this call, and they're like, "Hey man, this guy's like up on the roof putting up Christmas lights." So all of us, yeah, right, like all of us shut it down. Like I remember I left dinner, a bunch of our team just like rolled out. We called the sheriff's department. We set up like 3 or 4 blocks away, and then I just remember being like bothered that the sheriffs didn't care, because like we knew at this point in time he was wanted for murder, and then they were like, well, we're gonna position here, we're gonna do this whole team thing, and we're all like, this guy's on the roof, let's go now, like we're not playing, we got to hit him while we know he's there, and his hands, I mean, what, he's got a hammer or something, at least it's not a pistol, right?
Right,
So
right.
so we decided, we kind of like we blew the sheriffs off, and we are like, well, I mean, just sit back a block and just catch the dude that's coming running, right? So our team goes running in, and my job, I was kind of the faster of the 4 or 5 of us. So my job was to basically make entry into the backyard, and set up in the backyard, you know, ready to go. So I remember I'm running, I hit this fence. For me, it's nothing. I hit this fence and I'm coming over so fast. I land in front of these two massive pit bulls, right? I mean, massive pit bulls.
What?
I had to grab my pepper spray. I pepper sprayed the dogs. Then, as I'm handling that, right, as I'm handling that, I hear, and I can't see anything because I got the dogs in front of me. I got like like a security lamp and then jet black over here, but I can hear it. So man, my heart's pounding, right? Like I got my guns out, I got my taser out. I'm like kind of double fisting at this point. Like I don't know
Right.
what to do. And so as I'm kind of making my way around the backyard, I I poke my head over the gate, and as I poke my head over, he makes it over the next gate. So it's like right on TV, man. I'm hopping, he's hopping. I'm hopping, he's hopping. So now we're about like 2 blocks out, and now it's like a cat and mouse game because I got my team. They already cleared the house, and now they're making their way through the neighborhood. Right? I mean, we're pretty sure it's him. Who else is going to come flying out of this house? Um, so eventually we find him. He's like hiding under a car. We cuff him. Like everything's all cool. And this was the one guy I'll never forget. Like we have him cuffed. We got his feet cinched with zip ties, and he's still like this guy was. He knew he was going away forever, man. So he was biting, he'd headbutt. Like I'll never forget him. I had to pick him up like a sack of potatoes. I had to throw him over my shoulder, to keep this guy from like just. I mean, he was bucking and kicking. He wouldn't stop. And so that's when the sheriffs rolled up and were like, "Oh, we'll take this gift. Thank you
What?
all. Thank you all for the hard work. We'll take it from here."
What? After no, no, sir. So
Yeah.
so who's senior? Who's senior on that case? Because you said you guys like listen, you guys taking forever. You waiting for this guy to roll up. You're waiting for to call his mom. We got the guy on the roof. Who takes precedence? You don't have to. I take it. Your team is private, so you don't have to.
Hmm.
You don't have to wait for the sheriff
Right.
because you have the court order
Right.
already in pocket, ready to go, authorizing you to make an arrest at any means necessary.
Yep.
So the sheriff doesn't supersede your authority or that authority.
If they wanted to, yeah, they certainly have the power. But like at that point, like you said, it's basically like the bond is what gives the bounty hunter the power, right? It's think of the bond as a contract. I'm Ken Childs. If I screw up, I'm signing off all rights. Come and get me. So that's literally what gives them the power and some like 1930s and 50s like antiquated laws that allow bounty hunters to do what they do. But when the sheriffs step in, it's almost a little bit of a gift because you still got the guy arrested and that's all good. You're going to get your money. So at that point, fine, take him. Then I don't have to go through processing.
But you don't get paid, right?
You do get paid. You do get paid. Yeah.
Oh, you still get paid because you caught them,
Yeah.
and the sheriff can, I guess, vouch for you guys, saying yeah, they did catch him.
Well, it's going to be that he was arrested while we did it, and after a couple phone calls, all that everybody gets it that you're a part of all that.
Super, super.
But
Slim, my hero.
you know what it was looking back. The sheriff guys were like, "No, let them go chase him down. Let them get shot at. We'll be right here."
So for our audio listeners, right? I'm looking at this gentleman here. He's jacked, right? He's ripped. They're like, how much have you been, Chris?
Me,
Yeah.
I don't bench anymore. Like that's a young man's thing.
Well, he looks good. He looks good.
Thank
He
you.
looks like I wouldn't dare mess with him, right? So I can imagine. I'm picturing him and his team, right? Ex Navy SEALs types, and then I'm looking at Potbelly, police deputy chief that got donut crumbs running from his beard, right? Like he's not. He doesn't want to chase the guy. He doesn't want to jump over fences. He's not doing that. It's literally like let them handle it, right?
That's how I took it. Like afterwards, it was like, oh yeah, that was kind of obvious.
Absolutely, absolutely, incredible. I want to ask you something personal. This is this is in relation to dating, but who cheats more that you found in your 20 plus years of experience? Is it men or is it women? Who hires you the most?
I would say it's pretty 50-50. It's fifty
Really?
fifty. Yeah. Back in the day when I first started, it was always the man getting caught dirty, right? It was always like, oh, here we go. Okay, like I got it. And then now um, I think just like sex is kind of a little more open. I think that maybe from COVID, people were looking for like much more of a connection, right? Everybody was kind of a little bit lost back then, and they're working out whatever they had to work out. So I'd say today, women are in power. They're executives, kind of running they're alpha dogs now. So I'm feeling it's pretty 50-50.
Absolutely. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's 50-50. So men are hiring private investigators. Men are hiring Mr. Childs and his company fairly often. So I was trying to see. I was trying to see if I thought it was mostly women hiring you the most. That's what I really thought. Do you feel? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's 50-50 across the board. Like marriages, I think it's 50-50. Dating, definitely 50-50. These girls in
Absolutely.
LA, oof.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, that's true. That's a great point. Especially in LA, you got a lot of high profile, a lot of Hollywood, right? Hollywood people, you know, Hollywood people are finding you and saying, "Hey, I think my wife is doing some dirty stuff, man." I remember listening to a famous comedian who was trying to be served papers, and I guess you don't do that,
We do that. Yeah.
the wife, the private investigator, basically looked up his tour schedule and found him that way, and that's how they caught him, was doing a comedy show because his tour schedule is public,
Yeah.
and you can't hide that. So I feel like that'd be an easy cut and dry. Okay, let me just wait for him to show up at his next gig, and I'll bust him right then and there.
Unless it's Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, why is his stuff undercover or what?
No, Floyd, like I don't know, maybe everybody's trying to get a piece of Floyd, but yeah, I've heard stories of people serving Floyd. I've been hired to make attempts at serving Floyd, and it's like, please, this guy's got planes everywhere, man. Like, track the planes. That's how they served him. They tracked the planes. They found him at like a club, and then man, it got confrontational real quick. Because Floyd, man, he's rolling deep, and not only can Floyd take care of himself,
His team, his
yeah,
bodyguard.
yeah,
So you're not just trying to get through his staff, his personnel, and
yeah. It
if
all
you
depends. Like, I mean, this isn't like I don't know. This isn't hot potato. They don't have to like touch the person. They don't have to like hold them. It's like, yo, Floyd, and if he turns around, like, what's that player? You're like, been served, got you, and then you get your butt out of there. That's
okay,
official. Like,
so
that's
it don't have to be
fine.
physical.
No, it doesn't have to get physical. I don't know why people. I don't know. I enjoy those that are gonna get physical because I can
Is that
outrun them, right? I don't need to stand there and get all. I've only had two or three get like real close. I mean, there's a little chest bumping every once in a while, but I've only had like really one serve get hands on. And the crazy thing it wasn't even for him. It was like some security guard. But yeah, what ended up happening was I was looking for someone famous, like a producer, and the little no-name like kind of storefront was like a massive production company, and their driveway was open. So I'm like, I'm just gonna
okay?
go, yeah, I'm just gonna walk in. So I go walking in, and as I'm turning the corner, I get met by this Marine. It's like a real tough kid. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I'm like telling him what I'm doing. I'm just like, I mean, I'm not giving him the full detail. I'm just like, look, I just got a little job. I just need to peek my head around the corner. I'm looking for this guy's car. So he's telling me go pound sand. Okay, fine. But I turn around and I got these two like Oompa Loompas behind me, these big dudes. And I'm like, great. Now I'm like pinned in this like, I'm in the center of this like triangle here. So I'm trying to like talk my way out of it, right? I'm like, hey guys, look, whatever. I'm like trying to take it down a notch. And I said, look, let me just be like straight up. I got papers. This doesn't involve anybody. It's gonna get done whether I do it now or later. But like, I'm not telling them like I can't back up. Like I'm not gonna step into two dudes. I got one dude. One dude's easier than two, but he's a Marine. And so I go to show him the papers, just trying to like just keep it talking, trying to lower, like lower those expectations and chill things out. And what do you know? The guy just like slaps it right out of my hand. So as he slaps it out of my hand, I use that momentum. I hit him in the throat, turn him, and shove him right into the wall. So the guy just like smacks his head into the wall. Now I turn around and I'm like ready to go for these two. They part ways, so I'm like, okay, great. Like I make my way out of there. And all I'm thinking is like, damn, all that went down just because I was like walking in and dude was too much to even like kind of like let me out.
Right, right. And you were trying to de-escalate the one guy
Yeah.
right? Before he even got physical. Like, listen, that's not even your first approach. My approach is, listen, I'm just here. Do you have to identify yourself? You don't. It doesn't sound like it. You don't have to identify yourself. You don't have to have a big PI badge on your chest. You can
No.
be incognito.
Yeah.
Superman S on your chest.
Right. No. I mean, I I kind of work with like kill them with kindness kind of thing, right? Like maybe at first I may not come all cool, like, but I'm smiling, I bop around a little bit, and I'm trying to keep it easy. If they're coming off super aggressive and it doesn't need to go there, like, yeah, I'm going to de-escalate and slip out, right? Like, why? Like I can come back another day.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it doesn't have to be done right then and there.
No.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's all like on intuition, right? Like if you're feeling like, oh, the person in front of me is kind of a little bit of a wobbler, like, all right, cool, I'll tell you what's up. Like, it's only right or wrong till like after you do it.
Absolutely. Have you ever found a case and it turned out you were hired, and then they found out, okay, he's not cheating or she's not cheating. They're hey, the person you saw him with, that's their cousin. They were just taken out for a bite to eat.
I know I have one of those stories. But then the problem is, if you don't catch them, then they're almost like equally mad, right? Because like, man, I felt it, I know it. They kind of almost like you almost like need to catch them cheating. But I know I've got one or two of those stories. It's just not coming off to the top of my off. It's not coming to right now.
That's fair. How long do you pursue someone? How long are you hired for? What's the length of your service to a client? Is it a lump sum of money I'm going to pay you and then you tail them until you catch them, or is there a time period like, listen, this covers you. I'm gonna tail this person. I'm gonna find this person for 3 months, and then we need to re up. We need to renegotiate.
It's budget permitting, right? It's all by the hours. It's like X dollars per hour. But the more I talk to a client over the phone, I can dial it in. I mean, I've been doing this for 26 years. So what I'm trying to dial in when I do talk to a client is I want to see that window, the availability the other person has, right? And then if there is a window, let's say for example, suddenly Ken's going out to the gym now every Thursday afternoon, and it just so happens he's completely off the radar. And then he comes home and he's not smelling like he hit a shower. He's smelling like funky, right? Well, obviously, let's cover that window, okay? Let's hit that Thursday afternoon where you're thinking that they're going to the gym. Or what's your schedule looking like that would give them the opportunity to like slip out if they are having an affair, right? If you're Monday through Friday and you got some crazy sales job or you're some executive without the time and the other person is just like a homemaker, um, husband or wife, whatever,
Mhm.
those roles change today. I would then say, well, then sadly, we got to kind of cover that window a little more, right? If you're coming home and they're home and all's well in the evening, then yeah, we got to look in the daytime. Or if, let's say all of a sudden you got like these like you're a Saturday person, you got your pickleball going on, but then you think something's going on with your spouse. Well, then maybe if everything else is okay, but you got that feeling, well, then let's cover that time that you're out at pickleball.
Absolutely.
Or if you get to step out for the weekend, if you have that relationship with your family where, like, oh, hey, I'm going to go and take care of mom and dad. They're getting a little older. I'll be out for the weekend. Well, let's cover that weekend. If you think your spouse is kind of doing something, you go ahead and take off for a day or two. We'll cover your spouse.
That's what I was gonna ask. That was my next question. Is like, is it like, hey, he just left the house, now's the time. Is it like that? Can your client reach out to you in that type of way? Like, hey, like you said, this weekend, if I reach out to you on Monday, that seems feasible. But what about, hey, he just stormed out the house. I don't know where he's going. I don't know where she's going. Could you tell? Anything like that?
No, no, and so
Okay.
then also we try our best to schedule everything in advance, right? Because it's just too much. Like, what are you doing right now? I got kids, I got a wife, like they have expectations, like, you know, have you dealt with like a 7-year old come 5:30 p.m. expecting some like food? Like, no, like I can't go cover. I got to get my own coverage to then like take care of those things for you, you know? So I do my best to like schedule everything out in advance. if we can take on some last minute, obviously we'll jump on it. If it's some celebrity client, like yeah, we'll definitely, or an executive, like we'll definitely do what we can to make it happen. Like I do have colleagues I could reach out to, but I would prefer to schedule things in. But then like once I'm on the job or once my business partner's on the job, we're very accessible.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect. And
text,
that's fair.
emails, like whatever. I may not respond. Sometimes, and then if they're like really very, very intense, then I'm going to try and scale them back. Like, I don't want them blowing the job or getting a little crazy and distracting. I look up, their car's gone, like, so it's all a little bit of a balance between, like who you're working with.
That's fair. What? I guess I should have did this earlier. Forgive me. This is Mr. Ken Childs, y'all, spilling the tea on Gentleman Style Podcast. His company, Paramount Investigative Services, peeling the layers back. Your pirate investigator to what's going on. And I should have did this earlier. What constitutes cheating or qualifies cheating for your company? Because there's different levels. There's emotional cheating, and then there's actual physical, tangible cheating. Do you cover the emotional cheating aspect as well? Like, listen, we pretend like I heard this on a Judge Judy case where the guy was cheating and he was caught because the PI made a female Facebook account and then pretended to like flirt with him and hey, can you take me out to dinner? Can you meet with me? Like, what do you constitute as cheating as far as qualifying for your company and your services?
For me, it's about the lie. Like think about it kind of almost like a fraud case, right? To me, it's the lie. Um, because let's say you have a spouse out there and they are like, let's say they're really methodical and they end up like not meeting with somebody. To me, it's about them going out and not being truthful about like where they are or who they're with. Even if it's somebody even if it's a coworker that they're not having an affair with, well then, but like, why did you lie that were supposed to be out with friends, but then, here you are at
With this
dinner.
woman.
Yeah, like to me, it's about the lie. It's not necessarily like that it was going to go and be intimate. Like, why couldn't you tell your spouse?
That's a fact. Why couldn't you have just been upfront to tell her, "Hey, I'm going out with a coworker,"
Yeah.
which I kind of got my dad in trouble this past summer
Oh.
because I asked, I said, "Dad, what would you do if a coworker was making you lunch, right?" And he looked at me was like the Google eye, like, "Why are you asking?" Right? But that's a form of it because would you tell your spouse, "Hey, such and such is making me lunch every day"? Is that a problem, honey? Is that a problem there? But that could constitute cheating. And then, like you said, why not just tell your spouse, "Hey, this lady is making me lunch at work. This is why I have this extra Tupperware in my bag."
Healthy boundaries.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like you get the ability to question these people right as you zip tying them up, and they come with a riddle of excuses. What's the most shocking excuse you've heard from a cheating spouse, if that comes to mind, or what's the most ridiculous or outrageous? Like, well, I was cheating because she doesn't make me a sandwich.
No, you know what? I don't know. To me, it almost always circles back to the like lack of intimacy. I don't really have any like ridiculousness. Or I get, maybe to me what's really funny is when they like gaslight you, right? You're like,
Mhm.
let's say I've got video of them dead to rights. Like, let's say I've got them like in a car, full on shenanigans. And they're caught, and then the spouse will come back to me and just say like, well, they then were like mad that I was watching them, and it's like, stand up for yourself. Like, come on, we've got this. It's exactly what it is. How are you still entertaining all of this stuff?
Have you ever felt sympathy for someone, for a person doing the cheating? Like, man, bro, you really didn't need to do this. You got a beautiful wife at home. You got a supermodel wife at home. Why are you doing this? Like, your wife is America's Next Top Model, and you're cheating with the girl down the street who works for the post office or something like that. Like, have you ever had sympathy or felt compassion towards someone they just caught cheating?
I I do like with almost like every case, honestly.
True.
I feel for them. Like clearly they got some things to work out, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your take on polyamory or open relationships? I guess they wouldn't be hiring you in the first place. Does a couple, like, you caught them cheating and then they're like, oh, let's switch and just say we're poly? Um, do you feel that would reduce cheating or mask it?
I don't think so because like how many people can like sustain that, right? Like, you're only human and then so you're going to leave me to go be with someone else that can scratch that itch that I can't. And you know what I mean? It's only going to like go so there are only so few people that could actually like navigate those waters.
Absolutely. That's fair. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Huge. I love it. This is the this is absolutely incredible. This is why I had you see why I had to invite this gentleman on the show to ask these questions, because I knew a private investigator existed, but I didn't know. I never got the opportunity to know, like, what makes a private investigator. What? And I think I get it. There's a little masochist in you, right? There's a little, like, I love this,
Oh
like,
yeah.
to be able to post up with someone and say, "Listen, man, I'm trying to peek around the corner." Like, you have to really thrive in that, because that's high energy. That's
Yeah.
high. That's high. I forget the hormone, but that's high adrenaline pumping. Like, your heart's racing,
Yeah.
even though you're doing what can seem like, oh, I'm just trying to check and see if this guy, I got a bounty here for DUI, right? That's adrenaline rush, man.
Oh yeah.
I totally feel it. Do you are you what do you have on you? You got zip ties, you got handcuffs, and you got because of the dogs, you got pepper spray.
I don't do that anymore. That's a young man sport, or maybe I shouldn't even say that, but like I'm out on the bounty hunting stuff. It's just
Okay.
the dollars didn't make sense. The like rush was there. It was great. So today, what I carry honestly is all my camera equipment. I stay physically fit. I make sure. I mean, I can handle myself. Like I'm fine with all that. And then if I do think I'm going into like a situation, I carry a taser on me.
Okay. Um,
Well, and the reason why I carry the taser, and I actually recommend, you know, ladies carry taser. I recommend a lot of people carry this taser in particular. It's called the Pulse, like Pulse, Pulse, by Taser, and it's very small. It's the size of a maybe like a wallet. You could fit it in your back pocket, and and I personally got to use tasers on people, so I know the effects. You drop them. The only time you're really going to run into a problem is if you're dealing with like some convict who knows like pull the dart out. Like I've only had that happen one time, but I do recommend it because you can legally carry them. You don't need a special permit. You don't need classes. I mean, I recommend you know how to use it, but trust me, when some bad person in a dark alleyway sees that flashlight and a red laser, they know that's it. They know this person can use it. And I learned that during bounty hunting. We kept going into people's houses, and this one time in Upland, I'll never forget. We make entry. There's only two of us, and we've got like five or so gang members in front of us, and they were looking at us like they didn't care. They did not care that we had guns. They knew we couldn't use them. Their buddy was out the back window, like running off down the street, but we couldn't like kind of back out of the situation. It was a little too intense for that. And then what I didn't like was, as I was putting my gun away, I could see them kind of like, is it? Can we get this guy? And so I had to put the gun away and get the taser at the same time. And as soon as I got the taser out, it kind of changed their tone a bit. Like they kind of were like, oh, they sat back a bit because they knew like now if anything were to happen, I could tase them like right out of the gate, right? Because you can't just shoot somebody. You have to like show that there's like deadly force, right?
that's
So
true.
now with the taser, kind of changed the game a little bit.
That makes perfect sense. So it changed the tone because you recognized your environment. You scanned your environment. You saw that okay, they're clearly they're aware. They're conscious that you can't just go straight to it.
Not threatened.
Absolutely not threatened at all. And so the pulse taser, you recommend this. You utilize this. It looks like it has a safety for again for audio listeners. It looks like it has a safety mechanism. You said this fits in your back pocket, and it's not.
It fits in your back pocket. It's a great tool out there. I recommend it for people that live in a rough neighborhood or city. Pepper spray is great. Pepper spray does work, but if the other person's like tolerance is a little high, or you get a little mist back on you, you can find yourself in a bad situation. Or let's say they're grabbing a hold of you. Now you got pepper spray on the both of you, so that gets a little tough. Um, so I do recommend the taser and not a gun.
But the taser isn't that one time or you're is this it doesn't this isn't the one that shoots the darts and it sticks to them. This is one like you have to get up close and dirty to them and then zap them.
No, this one shoots. The one that you were hovering on, that one shoots two darts out. It's good for 8 or 10 feet, and
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, and it's good for I think 30 seconds, which is an eternity when you've tased someone. Because I used to have the police model, and I remember I hit a couple people, and that's 5 seconds, and you feel like you're like, damn man, that's nasty. But then
Yeah.
30 seconds. So Taser did this, and they offer a warranty, I believe. I may be wrong, but back in the day, this should be looked into. They offered a warranty where if you had to use it, let's say you're out in the streets, man or woman, you use it because of some bad situation. The reason why it goes 30 seconds is so you can hit them, basically toss it to the floor, and jog off.
Mm.
And they'll apparently mail you a new one if you've registered it with them and all that.
Absolutely. But this is a one time use. So this wouldn't be effective for you if you had it during that situation where you had the one guy in front, but then you had two guys behind you. This is a one time one and done. So
Yeah,
you have to use it wisely. You have to kind of strategize and say, okay, I need to use it so I can bolt this way, right? I need to take out the guy on the left or the right so that I
right.
can exit stage left like Scooby Doo.
See, if I had the taser on me then, though, I feel like I could have navigated that without it having escalated to physical force because I could have stepped out of the triangle, produced the taser, and then let's face it, nobody wants that, right? And then, like, Oopa Loopa, as soon as I got physical with that guy, they like peace out. So they didn't really want to be a part of it. They were just like towering over. So, I think as soon as Mr. Military like cut there, if he would have seen that taser, I don't think he would have kept on.
He would have backed up too. Yeah, he would
Yeah,
have probably backed off more than likely. I
because
don't. I've been pepper sprayed. I've never been tased, but you're right. I don't want to experience either or.
no, thank
You're
you.
right.
I've
It's
seen it. Yeah.
not fun. Not fun. What's your most effective method for catching a cheater? Do you use drones? I know you said camera, taser, and stay physically fit. Why is physically fit? Because I've seen some of those cameras, man. They're like big extendo tripod. You could tell time on the moon with some of them, depending on how magnetized or how scope you want to dig in. So why physical fitness? Why do you need to be in shape?
For me, it's about I don't know. Let's say something happens. You're getting confronted, and half the time it's not even going to be the person that you're watching, right? It's someone seeing you watch the other person because you're so laser focused on capturing this video. Like I can't navigate like all of this. And let's say someone else catches me. Well, they may not like what I'm doing. They just see me with some camera, and they're probably not even paying attention to that. So it's about being mentally and physically fit so you can either A, get out of there, or B, if they're just like so aggressive and you can't get out of it, then like you need to be able to take care of yourself.
Absolutely,
There's
absolutely.
there's stories, like countless stories on private investigators getting caught and like drug out of their car and beaten and sent to the hospital. It's like, whoa.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. That is incredible. Huge, huge, huge. What do you recommend to someone who is on the fence. They're debating on whether they should move forward in hiring a PI, or they have doubts about a PI. What's a common myth that you hear from people about private investigators? Oh, don't do it. Do it. What's a common myth that you'd like to debunk right now for someone who's on the fence about hiring a PI?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like a myth about hiring a PI. I mean, there are myths about our capabilities, obviously, but I don't know about a myth about like necessarily like hiring us. For me, I'm very pro hire, obviously, but I would say if you're on the fence, if you doubt it, it's worth taking a step back. Take a step back, reassess where you are. Like, what are you really seeing? What's going on? And then maybe why not run it by a PI and give that investigator a day or two, because it's kind of no harm, no foul, right? Like, and at least at that point, you can then take that information, whether they're out there cheating or not, and you can take that and process it for yourself.
Mhm.
So, like for me, it's not like a myth. It's kind of like there's almost like no downside to hiring a PI to see if your spouse is cheating.
Absolutely. What should someone bring when considering hiring you for a job site? What should they have already in hand, or should they have emails? Should they have pictures? I know. I'm backtracking on the question I asked you earlier, as far as what little information. But what should someone have prior to booking a consultation with you or a member of your team in advance? What can they already do the back work on and
Yeah.
provide you to make it easier?
I'd like for them to think about their scheduling, right? Their scheduling, their spouse's scheduling, the opportunity on like when they believe the other person would have the ability to go cheat, right? And then I want them to take a step back and think about like maybe something just like aligns, like, oh yeah, Tuesday afternoons they're doing some book club, and and they're gone for 4 hours, and but yet their phone's off, or you've noticed that your your homemaker is just like not available, you know, Thursdays between this time, and by not available, typically they respond back pretty quick, and then just you've just noticed there's this like strange window that they just do not respond. So I would like them to think about those things. And if they don't have it, that's fine. Like I could probably pull that out of you. Um, so I want them to think about that, and then I need like the name, address, phone. I need some pictures. I want to know what they're driving. If they think they know who the adulterer could be, like that may be helpful, but not like while I'm watching. Like, that doesn't help me knowing like, hey, she might be stupid Fred. I don't care. Like I'm laser focused on the people that I'm watching, so it'll all unfold.
That's fair. I know you mentioned cameras. You don't use drones. Do you ever use like hidden cameras
Oh yeah.
in someone's home? Like, do you have that as an equipment? Is that an option? What's your stance on using hidden cameras in
It
homes?
it is an option. If that's an option that you feel works for you, then great. However, these hidden cameras are they're a little cheap. They're from China, so like some, like who has like a 1980s looking like digital alarm clock sitting there today. But there are some cool gadgets. Oh, actually, now that we're talking about it, there's a outlet, a basic outlet, a power outlet, and one of them, instead of it being a plug, is actually a camera. So you would remove your power outlet, install this, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and then boom, you've got like a hidden camera in your home that like nobody's gonna spot.
That's incredible. I didn't even know that was a thing. So it's outlet and it's Wi-Fi connected
Yeah,
outlet. That's huge.
you just got to
That is,
figure out like where can you put it that it would see all the coming and going.
but it looks like an electric outlet.
Oh, it's legit. Yeah, it looks great. You could probably hit it on Amazon right now. And then same thing with like the smoke detectors. The smoke detectors are looking really good today.
I feel like they use that in some hotels. Like,
Maybe.
like to replace the camera. I remember. I think I was seeing something where it was like the mirror in the bathroom, and it's actually it looks like it's like a regular mirror, but it's actually translucent, and behind it is a camera that's actually looking through the glass, looking at you. But
That sounds
again,
like a gnarly like R-rated show, man.
I mean, I what you do, I can imagine it can. If you're catching people actively in the zone, they're in the moment, and you're probably catching people like in the weirdest setup, in the weirdest position. So it's
Usually
not
it's like in the car, or they're gonna just do like a dirty motel stay, you know. Even the well, I guess like the ultra wealthy, they kind of like they can ball, so they'll go to some hotel that you can't really get access to. So that's a tough one. But they might even be just like, let's hit the Marriott, you know.
the,
So we've caught quite a bit of that. I don't I don't think a lot of cheating, like honestly, in my 26 years, I've been thinking about this the other day. I can't think of one case where I've had someone sneak into their own home. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was like stepping out, my wife goes away for the holiday, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey Susie, my wife's gone. Like, why don't you come on over?" I feel people would get killed over that.
that's true.
You
I guess
know?
the risk is too high, right? The risk is too high for the
I
wife
think
to come
so.
back.
Like you got neighbors. They don't talk to you, but they sure in the hell know that that ain't your wife. You know. So you've
That's
got
true.
that going on. The I don't know. I think like the nerve. I'm sure it happens, but most of the cheating, typically we catch them in cars or at like cheap motels.
They're out and about. It's rarely ever, never at home,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
gonna
a
be
lot of
like
experience.
in some parking garage, on the like third level, getting their little session in.
Right, it's a quickie. It's a
Right.
quickie. Have you ever been? Have you ever been? I know you probably get threatened all the time, but have you ever actually been sued or for exposing something?
You're gonna make me cry, man.
Sorry, sorry,
So,
sorry.
so recently, what happened was this is actually like an awful story. This is like a multi-layered story. I was hired by somebody who basically told me in short, hey, I have some old school crypto. It was on a laptop, a couple other phones, devices, and I believe I know the person who stole it. So what I want you to do is look for that person, and then let's get some surveillance on them, and let's see if we could see that device. And he was like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm worth like 700 million, $1 billion, whatever it is. Let's go ahead and move forward with that. So okay, fine. Um, I honestly, I didn't think we were going to find the other person, and I can't give you these names.
That's fair.
Actually, I can. Actually, I can. It's all these lawsuits are all public record. So I was supposed to like look for Enzo Zalochi, and so this is like a wannabe actor, wannabe producer. He thinks he's like a Kardashian, but he's not. So, anyways, I was supposed to look for him, and my business partner actually went out and did the surveillance. I took like nothing for a retainer. That's how confident I was in us being able to find him. Like it's like if this guy's worth $1 billion and he's going to chase you all around town, like that person running is really going to hide. So we took a couple apartments and we hit one up, and a neighbor says like, "Oh, I'll never forget that guy. He literally had like suitcases and ran out the door, out the like hallway, and never came back." And he's like, "And I'll never forget that. Stood out in my mind." And I reported that back to the client, and everything like kind of died down from there. So a couple months later, I get this text, or maybe a month later or whatever. I get this text like, "Hey, we got him. Let's do surveillance." So boom, surveillance is on. I had my whole team. We were out there. We did surveillance, and then in the end, there were a lot of other things going on in the background that I was unaware of. Like he had like law enforcement guys doing things. He had another kind of private security ex law enforcement guy going around and like harassing and threatening and like posturing to beat people up. Like it was downright scary. I didn't know any of this until after this guy screwed me over and the job went south. So let's say a couple more weeks go by and I see another person arrive at this guy's house that I'm watching. And I report this back to the client. I said, oh, yeah, so this is who shows up. And he's like, I know these people. I know him. They're definitely hacking the laptop. Okay, great. So I need you to rob the guy when he comes out of this subject's apartment. I need you to rob him. And I'm like, pump the brakes,
Mm.
man. Like, what? You've been like watching too much TV, you know? Like, this, it doesn't work like that, man. And besides, the guy that we're watching, this moron carries a gun with him everywhere he goes. So, like, I'm not about to get like shot
Shot.
at from above, over some crypto stuff I mean, it's just like, it's just bonkers. So I tell him no. I think it all goes well at that point in time, right? I thought it was all cool. He says, okay, well, let's start watching that guy too. Fine. So we start watching the other guy. Long story short, all these other things going on. They like rob that guy. He gets that guy's laptop. The client, who's some crypto guy, he then plugs in. He starts telling me like, oh yeah, this code means that it was connected to my laptop. This code means that they were using this software to try and break it. Bop 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 bop. Right? He's like telling me like he's so like proud to tell me. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Like I'm not a techie, so I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I need to end this. Like I got to get the hell out of this. It's gone too far. I had no idea it's just like one day it just turns, right? You're like, what happened? And that was one of those cases. And so the guy ends up like burning me for a ton of money, and I went ahead and sued him. But
Mm.
because he's some kid worth like $1 billion, he just thought it'd be funny to turn around and sue me back. So instead of like filing, like I forget what it's called just because I'm on the spot, but when they basically you sue them, they then cross complaint back against you, whatever the technical term is for that. So instead of doing that, he files a lawsuit. His girlfriend files a lawsuit. Just completely like nuisance stuff. He had no point. A savage attorney. All this guy's job was to do is just drag us through the mud and just like harm the business and just consume me, my time, my attorney's times. And so that all unfolds, and then what do you know? The FBI sees my lawsuit. They call me. I end up in a couple interviews with the FBI, and they all get arrested. So the cops, the sheriff's guys got arrested, 5 or 6 of them. They all took plea deals. They're all doing like real time, man. They're facing real time, federal time. And then, and the client himself, Adamiza, that guy, he's like waiting for, he took a plea deal and he's like waiting for sentencing like as we film this. So now the knucklehead that I was following, that guy is now suing me, the sheriff's department, basically everybody but you and your listeners. He's suing everybody. So which I get, but at the same time, like what do you want from me, man? If I was like misled and lied to and what I was told, I had every reason to follow you. So
Yeah,
I mean that's all I
you
got
didn't
about
violate
that.
anything.
So yeah, as far as like suing a private investigator, it happens. Now I'm seeing lawsuits more and more. Like I had to serve a fellow colleague a couple months ago because he did an asset search and turned over finances, right? Like I don't know what he literally turned over, but in our line of work, we could look up bank records, but we can't look up like banking like details, right? Like I could figure out like you're with Bank of America or you're with such and such credit union. Like we can figure that out through third parties, right? It's illegal for us to call up a bank and say like, "Hey man, I'm Marcus, bop 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 bop," and then start impersonating. So that's completely illegal. Some PIs may still do that. Best of luck to y'all. But the other way to do it is legal, but the problem is like you have these like very affluent people, they're just gonna sue you.
Yeah,
They're gonna
they're gonna.
just yeah, they
They
don't
have
like
the money.
they
They
have
have
the
the money to go
money.
years and years
Yep.
and just waste your time and defame you.
Yep. So yeah, if you're Googling private investigators getting sued, it's real. It's happening.
Absolutely,
That's why we have insurance.
absolutely, absolutely. Wow, wow, wow. That is hard. That is really tough, and I'm sorry you went through that. I want to say that to you personally. I'm sorry
Thank
you
you.
went through that. That is not easy. Do I want to use a buzzword here? Artificial intelligence. and facial recognition. Does that add to what you do, or does that take away from what you do? Will that be quote unquote what replaces the need for a private investigator going into this new era? Will artificial intelligence and facial recognition replace the need for a private investigator?
No, no.
No.
So, okay, so oddly enough, 7, 8, 9 years ago, Google, Google's 10x what you think it is. You used to be able to go into like reverse image search and drop in a photo, and it would spit out that exact photo and everywhere it's been, right? So, um, dating sites, that's how you'd catch like a catfisher, right? Someone saying like, "Oh, I'm dating this guy, I'm dating this girl, here's their image, whatever." I would take that image, drop it into Google reverse image search, and bam, you would see it reversed, you would see all this craziness. Well, years ago, there was a group that didn't like that. I think they either sued or protested to Google. Google dumbed it down. They
Mm.
like they like scaled it back. So there are 2 or 3 websites out there where you can do reverse image searches and they're pretty accurate, but it's nothing like Google back in the day.
It was more Google back in the day was more detailed.
Google back in the day would spit out the exact image. Today, you put like a man with a military jacket on and they're like, "That's a military man. Here's 9,000 photos of like military people."
Incredible. So you're not worried. You and your company, you're not worried at all
No.
about being replaced or being phased out. Is it a growth market? Is your line of work growing? Is there more and more need for a PI? Or
Yes. Yeah,
really?
it's a growing market. There are definitely people. Give me 3 seconds here. There are definitely people. Um, there's definitely growth here. Whether you're ex-law enforcement or you have some special needs, let's say intellectual property, right? That's a growing market. Products are being made. Products are being like ripped off in China and or like redistributed out here and in the US in dark alleyways. Like that's a blowing up market. Fake drugs, think about these like fake knockoffs, like a Viagra pill. There's a growing market to investigate that. Workplace harassment. Now the terms like harassment is so broad now. Yeah, so there's a growing market to do employment interviews and workplace violence threat assessments, and it's growing.
Absolutely. Do you find yourself um can you leave California or only can do work in California?
So we have reciprocity with 5 states. Um, don't hold me to what those states are because I don't really have a need to leave. Um, and then there are several states that don't have licensing. Let's say like Alaska, for example, they don't have like a state license. But if you opened up some sort of PO box in Fairview, I'm sure they give you a PI license, just some lame stuff like that. The majority of states now do have a licensing board and require licensing. Nevada's hardcore. Man, you're gonna get an interview. You got a board interview. You're gonna pay. If you go to Nevada and you're not licensed to be in that state, and someone finds out, the board's fining you, and there might be other charges brought up.
Woo.
Nevada doesn't play.
Stay out of Nevada.
Yeah,
Stay out of
get a license.
Get a license. Do it the right way. I'm gonna get you out of here on this class question. These last two questions. Firstly, have you ever counseled a client who, after you did your work, found the cheater? Have you ever counseled a client who wanted to stay in a relationship after betrayal?
Yes. Yes, I have. And it's actually a very successful marriage. I mean, to my recollection. Um, so she was cheating, and the wife was cheating with the exact opposite of what the husband was, right? So this was like a very affluent, hardworking, intense, short, dark hair man, and she was with like the tall, sandy blonde yoga instructor. And yeah, and so I caught them together. But I ended up having a talk with the husband, and I think I just made him think about kind of bigger picture stuff. And they went to counseling. They opened up Pandora's box, had the discussion, went to counseling, and I remember it was like 2 years after I worked the case. He just called me and thanked me out of the blue, and we talked. Yeah.
Wow. Wow,
So
wow, wow.
cheating, it doesn't necessarily have to be the be all end all.
Absolutely. There are people, there are relationships that can be saved.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's big of you, man. That's very big of you. That's very super of you to even, have that conversation. Powerful,
I
powerful,
care,
powerful. How
man. I
can
do. I do care. I do.
see he's not see, this is why we have to get him on the show. This is why we sought him out. Sir, how can people connect with you? How can people find you? How can people learn more and hire their PI if they want to?
Yeah, if you have any needs in Los Angeles, it's just simply Google Los Angeles Private Investigator and or licensed-investigator.com, and that easy, hopefully. Or you could call us at 213-733-3333.
Keep it simple. I love
I
it.
know.
Love it, love it, love it. I want to say this to you publicly, sir. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for coming on the show and giving back in this way. This is absolutely helpful. Do you have a book? Do you have a PI, private investigator book?
I have a couple books. They're on Amazon. Basically, it's how to become a PI, and it's my story. Um, you get the real story of like how I got into the industry, and then kind of those like forks in the roads, you know. So if you're thinking about getting into the industry, kind of like, oh, okay, at this stage, what I'm looking at this and or that, and like kind of the route that I chose, and I ask questions so that way these people aren't just like coming in blind.
Absolutely. That's helpful. That's helpful. All right, y'all. We gotta let this incredible man go. He has many more lives to change. He and his company are incredible, and they're doing unfortunate work, but necessary work. This is why I say, don't cheat, don't cheat, y'all. Or Paramount Investigative Services is coming for you.
We're coming for
Especially,
you.
thank you all for tuning in. This has been incredible. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Appreciate you,
So
Marcus.
appreciate you, sir. You are dope and phenomenal. Thank you for being here. Like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and I'm gonna add this: don't cheat, and take care of business. This is Marcus, your incredible host, and the super fragilistic Espialidocious Paramount Investigative Services, Mr. Ken Childs, signing off. Love you guys. Bye.